We're going to take a little bit closer look at the Condominium and Property Owners Association resale addendum to the purchase agreement. The most confusing part of these documents are the timelines that they run with. So this, the Conres 1 and the POA 1 should be in reign with the listing, and the top should match everything on your purchase agreement. It should already have the seller, the listing firm, the property, and the association filled in. You're going to fill in the date of the purchase agreement, the buyer's names, and Keller Williams Realty. The condo association or the POA association, the management, whoever it is, has 14 days from the date of the order to provide the requested documents. Okay. So this form gets filled out once your contract is ratified, then the order will be placed. Make sure that the buyer or you on behalf of the buyer completes this section. You may not have an option of hard copy. The association may only offer electronic format. That would be what I would anticipate. You're going to check either A or B under this document. Either the buyer authorizes the selling firm to receive the disclosure package on their behalf, or the buyer does not authorize the selling firm to receive it, and the package will go directly to the buyer rather than to the buyer's agent. Either way, address and email and phone numbers need to be provided. If it's going to the agent, obviously just the agent's information goes here. If it's going directly to the buyer, you're going to put the buyer's information, but make sure you add the agent's email address as well, so that you as the agent get notified when that package is delivered and you're aware of the timelines and you're able to keep track of them. Okay. And again, we went over this with the purchase agreement, but I strongly recommend that in this additional instructions, you add that the seller agrees to resolve any and all association violations prior to closing and provide a clearance letter from the association. Now, if the seller has filled out the form and already signed it in reign, you're going to need to add this and get initials of all parties for that change to the contract. Okay. So you've done this. It's been submitted with the purchase agreement where we have a ratified document and the order has been placed for the resale package. Like I said, the association has 14 days. Days are calendar days, not business days, and it does include holidays. It includes weekends and holidays in those 14 days. So once you and or the buyer, you as the agent and or the buyer receive the resale package, the buyer then has 3 days. And again, these are just calendar days. It includes weekends and holidays, starting at 12:01 a.m. the morning after the receipt of the documents, to review them and terminate the transaction if desired. So for example, the buyer receives email with the documents at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. The 3-day counter starts at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday. Buyer has all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and all day Friday up until 11:59 p.m. to review the documents, decide if they want to terminate the contract or if they're going to move forward with the purchase. If they choose to terminate, the release needs to be delivered to the listing agent before that 11:59 p.m. deadline. So make sure your buyer knows that you can't come to me at 11:59 on Friday to terminate this deal. We have to have that delivered prior to 11:59 p.m. on Friday. So make sure they're starting to look over the documents immediately upon receipt. Okay. because if you get down to the wire, your buyer could be stuck purchasing the property. So they need to understand, and you need to understand, that 3 days is all inclusive. You have to review the documents, decide if you're going to stick, and if you're not going to stick, you need to release before the end of the 3-day timeline. Okay. The 3-day review cannot be waived by the buyer, and they cannot close on the property until those 3 days have passed. So if you've got a cash buyer and they're anxious to get in, you need to let them know, this is something we can't waive. It's law. We have to abide by these rules, and you have to wait the 3 days. So if we follow our example timeline and you have till 11:59 p.m. Friday, well, now you've got Saturday and Sunday. You're not going to be able to close on the property until Monday. Okay. So just be aware of that as well. The document says, it's right here in number 2 in bold. If at any time prior to receiving the resale package, the buyer decides they no longer wish to purchase the property, they can terminate the contract and get their earnest money back. It's kind of a, well, because of this and this and this, because the buyer has the right to review the package, if the buyer decides prior to getting the package that they don't want the property, well, they've not had the opportunity to review it, so therefore they have the right to terminate. Okay. So you've done all this, you've requested the package, you know what your timeline is. Package is in. Okay, package is in. We then need to let the other side know we've received the package, so the seller also is aware of that 3-day timeline. So you're going to use the POA or the ConRes 2. They're the same forms. There's one's condominium, one's property owners association. Essentially, they're the same documents. You're going to have the top part filled out. And on page 2, you're going to give notice to the seller by completing only A or B, the date that the resale package was received. Okay, and this says the 3-day time frame begins at 12:01, the day following the delivery, and the buyer's right to terminate ends at 11:59 p.m. on the 3rd calendar day. So again, if the buyer is going to terminate, you have to have that release agreement done and delivered prior to 11:59 p.m. on that 3rd day. All right, so the buyer's got the package. Here's a long list right here on your POA or ConRes 2. You need to make sure the buyer looks for all of these items in the package and reviews them. Some of the highlights of those things are any violations that need to be corrected by the seller, any current or upcoming assessments. You want to look for the amount of money in that the association has in reserves. A healthy reserve account is a good thing. You want the association to have a good reserve so that if, in case an urgent situation comes up, it's going to be able to be taken care of, and you don't end up with a rundown building that has a multitude of assessments, and you're going to have problems with selling in the future. You might want to know what the pet policy is, how many, what size, what breeds, what the master insurance policy covers with regards to the exterior of the home if damage occurs, who covers a roof, who covers a skylight, who covers windows, who covers a balcony, those kind of things. Rules and regulations regarding your everyday life, how the yard maintenance is handled, what your grass length can be. Can you put a flag out? If so, what size? What kind of holiday decorations are you allowed? Are you allowed to put political signs? Are you allowed signs in your windows? Can you even put a for sale sign on your property? All those things are things you need to know, okay? And any other rules and regulations that pertain to your life. And again, I'm back up here to your 14 days and 3 days. The days are calendar days, and they do include weekends and holidays. So the condo and the POA documents are essentially the same. You're going to look for the same things. You're going to have the same timeframes, and the forms that you fill out for those two entities are the same. As with everything else, if you have any questions, please ask the mentors, come to me. Let's talk it through. Let's make sure that you and your clients are getting things done the right way.